You are now listening to the Clubhouse Chronicles. Enjoy.
This is the Clubhouse Chronicles. I'm your host, Rhythmic Friction. Today I'm joined by my boys again, Dylan Olson, aka Lover, and Happy New Year, and the Italian scallion himself. He cook, he clean, and he'll flick your bean. Elliott Euseppi in the flesh.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not going to deny any of that. So, yeah, thanks
We're here, dude. We're doing it. Y'all thought you could stop us, but we back.
Guess who's back?
So, yeah. You guys are all doing good? How's your New Year?
Yeah, we actually did a duo DJ set for New Year's, and I hadn't worked in New Year's since like 2014 when we were in a band at, what was it, the Olympic for New Year's?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was...
Dude, I forgot about that. I wore a tutu and an inflatable crown.
We had a champagne
Me and Brandon
toast.
both wore tutus that night.
Yeah, it was pretty adorable. But yeah, so the duo was actually a lot of fun. We went all out. We busted out some gear.
It was a Grease themed party.
Yeah.
So he was
What's that mean? You put like
Grease,
petroleum
like the
jelly
movie.
all over yourself?
Seriously,
He was Danny Zuko. I was Kaneki.
I went out of my way to a Walmart to find petroleum jelly to slick through my hair. It was called like High Shine. It was $1.87. It was pretty
greasy as
yeah,
fuck.
it was greasy.
I put some in my hair, and my hair's
like
a little
it.
too long for that grease, but it was good.
Grease is the word, man.
Grease is the word.
So you had a show.
How was you? Oh yes,
Yeah, we
I did.
didn't talk
Oh,
about
my
yours.
New Year?
Yeah,
Oh,
talk
yeah, it was good. I played a show. It was great. It was
Where'd you play? What was yours?
It was at the Gem Center.
Oh, that's right.
It was the Gem.
That's what I thought you said.
The Gem.
Wasn't sure if I heard you
GEM.
Is it
It was thrown by Persona, OG Persona. It's a production company.
Yeah, Brando.
They do good work. It was a good show.
Yeah, he does.
It was very 3 levels, so 3 stories of craziness. It was pretty well.
That was.
It takes a lot of work to do one stage, so it takes even more work to do 3 levels of decorations, lighting, blah blah blah.
I can only imagine.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
So it was good. It was good.
Nice.
You had an event, EP release, right, for Lover?
That was January 3rd. Yeah.
That's right. How'd that?
Yeah, it
how'd
was.
that go?
It was amazing. It was a wonderful success. I had a bunch of people come out. Had a lot of talented openers. We had Bryn Smith. She's like 17, and she's a singer-songwriter. She played, I think Darian is, she's a student of Darian's. Darian was an opener, Darian Renee, Carrie Rees, and then Captain Snafu, Noble and Captain Snafu, and they're in high school, I think, but they slay it.
You getting them young, boy.
Yeah, we were bringing out the young crowd, bringing out some. Yeah, it was nice.
You gotta get the young people out because they don't.
Gotta show them some
They
good
don't
music.
know what music they like. You gotta develop them young minds. You gotta.
Yeah, because it's so saturated nowadays with which I mean, if
My
it
girl
slaps,
like
it
do
slaps. I can
cocaine.
get down on it, But no, it was good, and I got my merch designs through and produced. Nicholas Verlinich at Death Proof actually designed my stuff, and then Elevated Apparel came through and did those, and started doing that, which is dope. Went through Sticker Ninja for my stickers. Those came
Shout
through.
out to Sticker Ninja PDX. What up, boy?
And yeah, very, very pleased with the products, and now it's just moving forward from here. I've been kind of taking the
You like
past
the
few-
stickers that came out though?
Yeah, dude, great quality, man. Super.
I just want you to
thick
know-
business. I like it.
I just want you to know, Justin.
Looking out for you.
Looking out.
Yeah.
He pointed me your way, and I am very pleased.
Just
But
saying.
Now it's just I've been taking the past few weeks off after working so hard to get that. And then I'm planning to jump in the studio again next month to work on some singles and start working on an album to release in the fall. So there's a lot of...
Sounds busy. I like it.
Yeah, got to keep it busy.
We've also been working on a side project, Wile.
Yeah,
WILE. We've been working on that. Like, it was just nothing. It was just like a little, like,
We
would
released
jam.
one track.
Yeah, because
back
we
in the
were
day.
jamming so much that we ended up having like almost like a full album's worth of material that we need to sift through, and then we're like, well, we might as well just be a band.
Yeah, well, we initially
We got enough
conceived it because
music.
we had Yoni Oso, but Yoni
All right,
Oso
right,
was
back
like
it
our
up, back it
funky
up.
project.
So you guys started a new project, the side
We're
one.
revamping an old project.
Oh, okay.
Because
Now
we
I'm on
had
track.
Yoni Oso. and
Revitalizing it.
I remember Yoni Oso.
Yeah, Yoni Oso was like our funk project, but we
I'm
wanted,
gonna get mine.
and but what we want, Yoni Oso wasn't so much of Josh's, like, of his flavor. He wanted to do something more like in the indie scheme of things, and so Weil was our response to that, where we, it was a little more like, actually, I don't want to say that our songwriting in Yoni Oso wasn't serious, but we had a lot more like, it was fun, it was funny, it was humorous, comical, funky, and this was, Weil was more like actually letting the, I want to say serious, but it was still fun and creative. But we're revitalizing that, but we're bringing it more, doing it more less from a production standpoint and bringing more of a live element to it, making it more of a band.
So some songwriting, some,
Well, yeah, so we've got, we're all doing multiple instruments. So Josh is doing kind of backtracks on Ableton, and he's got 2 synthesizers and a drum pad. I've got my drum pad and my synth and my guitar, and then he's got his guitar, his bass, and another drum pad. So we've
And
got
my pipes.
and then we're both singing. So
Nice.
we've got, so we just jammed last night, and that was more of just a jam, feeling each other out in the space. But we're definitely going to be working to build that up, and then hopefully be booking a show at the Neurolux within the next 6 months or so.
ambitious. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. So that's fun.
Yeah, and I'll be. I'm actually going to be booking some of your shows here in the coming
That's
months.
That's
so
right. Got some big things cooking up.
yeah,
Lovers on the scene, baby.
I'm excited for that. As opportunities close, more come to light. So
That's right.
I dig it. Good stuff, guys. You want to know what I did recently?
You got shirts and hoodies coming in. I know that much.
Oh, man. That's small potatoes, baby.
small
That's
potatoes.
a given. You got to have merch.
I know. I was just bringing the small potatoes before you bring out the whole.
I'm not trying to
meal.
demean the size of your potatoes by any means. Merch is
No,
always cool. if you
Please,
can
by
get
all
cool
means,
merch.
because I was just bringing, some O'Brien potatoes.
I'm just
but if you want to
saying.
throw out the whole loaded baked potato right now,
I'm going to throw some chives on it.
yeah, some shallots.
what about some scallions?
Some
Oh.
Italian scale.
Yeah, those
like where you
Italian scallions.
I got a bus. School bus.
Congrats.
24 footer.
Do you plan?
Bus.
What do you plan to fill it out with? 10 people and the rest gear. What's your plan?
I want it to be a little more homey. I'm going to have some gear on top. I want to have some facilities.
Christopher McCandless.
Yeah.
Wait.
What does that mean?
I don't get that either.
Into the wild.
Oh, dude, he
that's-
died of starvation.
That's
I'm
a
with
great
you.
reference, but that went over my head a little bit.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's what I thought. I thought it was something like that, but I was like, nah, dude, I'm gonna have it run the vehicle runs. I ain't gonna be.
I wasn't sure if you just bought a broken
I
down
ain't
bus.
gonna be
or-
wasting away in a rusted out VW bus, eating wild potato.
It wasn't a VW bus.
It was something, man. He got all busted up. He didn't do it right. This is
because
this
he
is
ate the wrong. He ate the wrong plant. And it
it's
poisoned him.
that story is really cool. Like the archetype, the traveler, the explorer,
dude, I
right?
love it.
But also, homie might have had some mental problems that weren't addressed. He kind of just ran away, escaped some things, and
The
then
book nor the film probably, really highlighted that. It was just him against the world, societal norms. So
Well, I
he
think
probably,
that's-
to what you're saying, though, he could have been,
people come up against
Schizo.
societal
That's a
norms all the
classic.
time.
I
but
think that is a really interesting concept. But I think what's really awesome about the story, it's sad, but it's beautiful. Is at the end of his life, it's as he's dying, he writes it down. He realizes happiness is only real when shared, and so it's he goes through this whole extremist phase of it's him against the world. He's out searching for this truth and this meaning and this deep purpose, and then in the end he realizes that he essentially kind of squandered. He didn't squander it, but he realized that it all, like, he has no one to share it with. And he kind of came to that realization at the end of his life, which is sad, but it's beautiful in its own way, in a dark way.
So if he didn't end up being alone and forcing himself in a situation, he could have survived, you know? And
Well, and the reason he almost did go back and survive, but it was because the river was too high. The water line was too high, and he couldn't cross the river, so he had to wait in the bus, and then he ended up dying of starvation.
yeah, he was in too deep, man.
Dude, oh man, I love The Wilderness though.
Yeah, that's a great book.
Hey, remember that time we went?
Talking about when I popped my tires up in the.
You know, and it's like,
Dude, that story. God.
oh, we went miles in the wrong direction walking. Had a oh man, it was icy, snowy.
So there we were. It was 11:30 p.m. and we were all probably like 21, and we got a 30 rack of Coors Banquet. We hopped in my little white Mitsubishi pickup, and we drove up to Arrow Rock, and it was raining, and it was sleet outside, just cold and wet. And we decided to go up in the woods, and we drank the whole 30 rack. I remember I was trying to break a log. I'm standing on a log trying to break a stick that's attached, and then it snapped, and I just fell
Did a
right
front flip.
front flip right into it, and got a big old gash in my forehead. But then sun's coming up, and we managed to get like a little.
Because you don't want to drink and
fire
drive,
going.
you want to wait it out. Yeah.
And so we're like, you know what sounds really good? Taco Bell. So we hop in the truck and we start going in what we think is back to town. Turns out it was in the wrong direction, going deeper into the mountains. And then I was cruising around a corner, and there was a landslide that had come down, a rock slide, went over and popped both my front tires up in the middle of nowhere. So then we kept walking in the same direction we were driving, didn't realize it was going further into the mountains, until a dude rolls up and just, what are you boys doing out here? And we're like, oh, we're just trying to get to Twin Springs. I almost said Twin Peaks. Trying to get to Twin Springs to make a phone call. You know, we popped our tires. Oh, well, that's about 15 miles in the other direction. Good luck, boys. And then he just leaves. He just left us. He just left us there. We're like, okay. So we start walking back, and at this point, there's like no sleep. We drank a whole 30 rack of beer, so we're just drunk and delirious. And then some other dude came by and picked us up and dropped us off there. And then we waited for Josh and someone
My buddy
else, right?
Joe Scarlevi, that was who picked us up at the lodge in Twin Springs. Shout out to Joe. Thanks, bud.
But
We didn't die.
That's our luck in the wilderness. apparently.
We're not as dumb anymore.
No.
our bus
Live and
adventures
learn,
should
man.
be a
Live
little
and learn.
more smooth.
You know, back on the bus, it's ironic. I have a really good friend. His name is Ryan. I have short-term memory loss. I can't remember people's last names anymore.
Got kicked in the head by a burro when you
yeah.
were 14.
A few things. Anyway, but he has a huge bus just like you, and he's literally stripped it and everything, and it's been his project for over a year, so it's kind of coincidental that you're buying a bus too. I just thought of that. But another thing I thought about ideas for what you could do for your bus, I think about when I was at Sasquatch in the year of 2015. I got on a party bus, and it was like furred out and everything, and there was undercarriage.
Like carpets? Like
Yeah,
carpeting in there?
That Joe Namath effect, Broadway Joe, he had that shag carpet.
It was
that
very
like 2 inches
shag,
thick.
pink, purple.
Sorry, that was a football reference. My bad,
Oh,
bro.
don't do that.
I know Joe Namath. Come on. I know what Joe Namath.
I know what Joe Namath. No one liked that, but
Man,
I loved it.
That was a punt, man. Nice job. That was a good punt for not knowing football. But yeah, those are some ideas I just thought of. They would have, you could lift up the seats, and you could stow stuff. Like, there's so much. I think of so many possibilities that you could turn that bus into for your tour.
Well, check this out. Thanks to technology, we have the power of Google SketchUp, which is a really cool free 3D software that you can download. And basically you can make whatever, and a lot of designers go in and have made things, and you can import previously made objects like a sink or something. So you can import that into your model, and instead of drawing out a blueprint or just going into it and start building, you can 3D model what you want to do, make it all to scale, look around, and if you want under seat storage for this or that, you can build all that and see how that would work properly without actually
doing it.
Because I'm lazy, baby.
Yeah,
Just clack away with some coffee and a bong hit, some Google SketchUp.
One of your dab butter waffles.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. That's a yeah. So that's one of the things is when you're getting into like touring or events, and this covers a lot of different industries, but for the most part, when you're getting into something, you want to own the means of production for the most part. So you could be a band and not have a vehicle to go in or like additional speakers or lighting or this or that, laser beams or whatever. You can rent all of that and basically maybe break even on a tour and have a really cool production. Or you can own a bus, extra speakers, lighting, everything you would need, video
Well, that's
equipment.
the ideal.
And that way it's a good investment because over time you can just go out and do whatever you want, make it happen. You don't have to worry about, because like cargo van rentals or, RV rentals, that gets super expensive over time. So
yeah.
it's just something we'll go to Burning Man or whatever.
Well, and another thing too.
Do that whole thing.
You could also, there with owning a bus, dude, you could totally open it up as a party bus service here and there. And do like chartering. Like you could totally do something like a private charter service, something like that. Extra revenue. Bada bing, bada boom. Make it a shaggin' wagon.
Bust a nut. That's what I want the license.
Yeah.
That's what I want the license plate to
Bust
be.
a nut.
Bust a nut, baby.
that actually might fit in the amount of characters for a license plate.
Do you think that's allowed?
Brilliant.
And if
Rhythmic
it's-
friction on the side of the bus.
Ooh.
Bust a nut on the plates.
Bust a nut.
would you do vinyl or would you paint it for the rhythmic friction?
So that the bus is white.
Magnet.
So
magnets.
I was thinking about having some. When I say graffiti artist, I mean like spray paint
Like an
artist. Yeah, like they don't just make tags. Which tagging is great. You can make really cool tags, but they can do like portraits with spray paint. So they can do some really cool things. But I would just want rhythmic friction on the side, but professionally done by some graffiti artist maybe that would kind of, it doesn't have to be all crazy looking, but it'll be cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Jeremy, have you been on tour before? I can't remember.
I've done like mini excursions, like a few cities at a time, and then I come back because before I was always working a lot, doing the real job thing. I don't like being a starving artist. I like having my money.
Yeah.
See, I've never been on tour. It's always been a dream of mine to go though, just to experience it at least once.
Yeah,
And
you absolutely should.
Yeah.
It's fun. Like my brother and I have gone out for a couple weeks at a time, and just it's fun. You get into a rhythm,
It's a thrill. Like it's almost like
You've been, I know that. You were managing.
I did one tour, and I wish I did more, but then it just things fell through at different projects, and it was like okay, and then it opened up the door for a few more jobs that led into more like talent buying stuff. But I was going to ask you, what's the coolest, or what's like the freakiest or the coolest tour story that you have in your experience?
Ooh.
Well, I don't know. There's.
I could start if you want.
Go
You
for it.
All right.
got some good.
Oh, you already got some.
Oh yeah, I'm cooking it. So we stopped in Seattle. I was out on a tour for 2 weeks. I was a tour manager for a psychedelic rock band called Bliss, and we had a couple other bands on the road. One was from Seattle. The other one was actually from Boise as well. So we stopped there, and we had hours to kill. We blew our clutch out on the Toyota Corolla. It was actually Brandon Walker's. And we were going up a steep hill on Queen Anne at midnight because we were arriving at, God knows what hour. But yeah, we blew the clutch out, so we had to figure that out the next day, but we had time to kill, so we kicked it in Union Square. And it was kind of like a crazy time because this is when, marijuana was being legalized in Seattle. And so we're out there and we're just like, man, everyone's smoking. This is weird, because, being from Idaho, you're not used to that. And I mean, it's just it's like a thing, you know,
Speak
like
for yourself, bro.
well, hey, I mean, like California, and we like it's funny,
We're
you know.
behind the curve here.
Yeah, I mean, this is almost, gosh,
I mean, now we're
six. This is like 6 or 7 years later, and we still haven't, you know, been legalized in that respect. And I thought that would have already happened.
Legalize it, man.
Just do it already. But anyway, yeah. So we were with the other band from Seattle, and this guy comes up randomly, and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And he knows the Seattle band, and we're like, "Okay." And he just starts up by asking, "Do you guys want to go get oysters?" And we're like, "No, that's like not in our budget." He's like, "No, come on, we're getting oysters." And he was so like persuasive and persistent anyway. And we're just like, "Oh, dude, no." He's like, "Come on, we're going." So. Where we basically shut up and we march over to this oyster shack. And this oyster shack.
Oyster shack. Is
Yeah.
this a brothel?
Get your oyster shooters! Are you ready for a shuck fest, boys?
I really don't want to
That's
think
what
about
it's called,
a brothel.
shucking.
A brothel called the Oyster Shack.
Oh.
You shuck oysters. So I went to a place called Shuckers. It was good. Get
did
some
they
oyster
play-
shooters.
what
Ooh,
did
right
they-
on the coast. Ooh, you taste that salty air. Mm.
And their motto was, "You shuck me all night long."
Oh my gosh.
Get out.
Yeah.
But continue. You interrupted him. Just
All
kidding,
right.
I did.
So anyway, we start getting like big old plates of oysters, and he's like, "Guys, you know what you're gonna drink? You know your oysters with?" We were like, "What?" And he goes, rosé. And we're like, fuck that, man. Not a chance. You know? He's like, "No, shut up. You don't even understand." We're like, all right. So he starts buying bottles of rosé, and we're thinking about our tab. We're just like, God, we can't fucking do this. And he suddenly makes a toast once he starts pulling out the rosé. And he had just lost his best friend. And so, best friend that was very dear to his heart, he made a toast about him. We all just kind of felt like empathically, it was like, wow, dude, he actually lost somebody. And the bill was like over $400. He paid for the whole thing.
What?
And we were just like, dude, you didn't have to do it. But he had to because his friend had died, so he felt like giving. And we literally were so...
That's incredible.
But on tour, you're so broke. You don't ever want to... You're just thinking about, like, we got to just play. We got to grab, like, a burger and fries or something from the gas station. You're not thinking about that stuff. Like, that's bougie. And so that was, like, one of the most, you know, outstanding moments. I was like, man, the sincerity and the generosity of that person. Because he knew we were on the road, you know, and all that good stuff. But, yeah, our minds were just blown.
Yeah, I
Dude,
should
I
have.
love rosé. I think it may have been after that when you guys got back, because Brandon and I actually went out to Barganica. We just went on a mandate, and we got their little. It's not a charcuterie plate, but it's like basically their cheese plate, and then we got some bottles of dry rosé. It may have been after that whole rosé experience that he was like, "Dude, rosé is."
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we were changed men after that. Like we're like rosé and oysters, and we'll say that to each other, and we're just like, "Oh yeah, that was a good moment." So yeah, that's my tour. That's
That
one.
is-
That's
Yeah,
awesome
I
story,
should
man.
have.
I
I
have a
should
few
have
more,
started
but-
because mine's not as like good as
No,
that.
it doesn't have to be, but just
But whatever.
if people want to understand what tour
thanks
life
for
is
throwing
like.
that off. Yeah, so I went on this little gig down in Arcata. We were playing some shows, and I came through Boise, and then went to Arcata, picked up a gal that was a DJ. She super good, Satra, by the way. Shout out.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I know her. Yeah, I went to high school for actually.
And so we go down to Arcata, and it was crazy because there's all these wildfires. And so you're going through like the redwoods and then some of these towns that are just like covered in smoke. And just the landscape was crazy because as we went back through, we took a wrong turn somewhere. And all of a sudden we were a few hours before in dry, fiery forest. And then all of a sudden it's dark. We took a wrong turn. We're going through like the middle of Oregon, which is kind of deserty, and through this little highway, and my windshield wipers went out, and it was super dark, and then this like the craziest rainstorm that I've ever encountered came through. Maybe
Dude, Central Oregon is like notorious.
we
for
had to
this,
stop.
man.
Like it was crazy. We had to stop it got all spooky because, of course, we were talking about aliens. And then all of a sudden it just like, so you can't see anything around you. And the storm's just coming down. You got the spooky dookies. You got the goosebumps.
Yeah, you're thinking first contact.
We don't know
is
what.
hitting you
Yeah, what kind of species are you even? And it was like that. I felt like I was in another world because I had I knew where I was because you got the GPS, but like it just coincided with our conversation. All of a sudden, everything I knew for certain I was gonna get abducted and get my booty played with by aliens.
Think they're gonna get some Allen probes all up in you.
But yeah, that was crazy. Everything goes pretty smooth, man. I don't have super crazy stories. I like it. I mean, maybe my life's just wild regardless. And
I would agree. I would agree with that.
Yeah, I would say that's true. Hashtag truth.
Well, I mean, one of the biggest things about tour life for those who are aspiring musicians or what have you not, the tour life, you're out there, nobody knows you, and you just have yourself, and everything kind of just comes at you, So it's exhilarating, I can say that about tour life, and I miss that because once I got back, I was ready for more. I was like, let's do this again.
Do you guys want to hear another thing that happened? Different time. This is actually this year.
I'm always down to hear about things that happen.
Oh my gosh. So I go to Moab this last October for a festival. And shout out to Boom Camp Out. They're doing that again May 22nd. I'll be out there playing and slaying. So the Moab's a desert, super rocky, amongst Arches National Park. It's that kind of landscape for anyone who doesn't know. But it's a desert. There's some shrubbery and things like that. But for the most part, it's a desert. And so when you watch BBC documentaries with David Attenborough, and all of a sudden there's a desert storm that comes through, the rain, and then all of a sudden all the toads come out of the ground that were hibernating all the wildlife, right? So I'm in this desert, and usually at a festival when rain comes down, sometimes it's cool, sometimes it's shitty.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this isn't too bad, but it was a pretty consistent storm for 2 hours. And all of a sudden, everywhere you look, you'd be walking and there'd be a blue scorpion and then a toad and another toad. All these animals came up out of the ground that were hibernating. And it's a desert phenomenon that doesn't happen all the time,
That's awesome.
And we got to witness that.
That is cool.
While we were having a good time.
So how much peyote do you eat down there?
Bro. Oh, there was a bat
Stumbled
cave.
on a couple cactuses.
I smoked a joint in a bat cave. It was unoccupied. They were they probably found a better cave.
Batman wasn't home.
Yeah, and ooh. That was that. I mean, it was cool. It was cool, guys. Who's coming? You guys gonna come with? Back to Moab?
I will be in the area. I'm actually going to go to Sundance Film Festival this weekend because
that's right.
Yeah, so my family's business is shout out to Cinematica. It's a streaming platform for independent films.
Papa Euseppi.
Available on
the original
Amazon,
Scallion.
Apple
The original
iOS,
Scallion.
Google Chromecast, Roku, all these streaming devices available to you. But
Courtesy
so
of OG Scallion.
No, Cinematic is really cool because you were telling me this. I think this was weeks ago, but
yeah.
It's like a streaming service that's geared more towards independent filmmakers and producers, right? So it's not like Disney Plus where they just throw around all the big bucks for things that are or the Netflix where it's these big productions and things like that. This is more independent, quality productions that.
So one of my roles is to basically, sign filmmakers who are, not getting picked up by major production companies or, distribution studios like Paramount, all that stuff, because it can be a pipe dream for most people because, if they get their film purchased, what they don't realize is that it's a catalog. So So you get picked up by DreamWorks. You're in the catalog of thousands, and I mean thousands of films, and you'll be at the bottom. Like, oh yeah, we'll give you a 7-year contract, and we'll pay you this much for it. But your film may not even see the light of day. It just gets stuck. You're like, wait, the whole point for our filmmakers to get their film be seen by people. And so what we do is like, no, we're not going to cut you that deal. We're going to give you something a little bit different. It's kind of like a pay-per-view scenario. And the financial structure it's more incentivized for the filmmaker as they sign on. It's like non-committal, month by month in a way. So we focus on the niche market of whatever it be, a documentary, a short film, a full-length feature, foreign film. So yeah, we have all these films in a catalog of our own that's available on streaming devices. So we're going to go to Sundance. It's my first film festival of this magnitude. Like, it's huge. So I'm going to be at the UCLA reception, and my dad, he'll be at the NYU, but we're going to probably screen some films. I don't know. It's all sold out, so I'm going to cross my fingers on that one. But, yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm going to be doing that
That's
this weekend.
awesome.
Hell yeah.
That'll
Yeah.
be an
Yeah.
experience.
Cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Crazy.
kudos. Kudos.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of kudos. So,
We've got some good stuff cooking up with kudos in the next year. We've this was Elliott's. He sprung this idea, so I'll let him head this point.
well, I went hot like a rocket for this idea of burlesque. I like stuff that's kind of like, again, on the niche thing where it's like,
It's a little edgy.
yeah, it's edgy. It's different.
Hits you in the feels.
Yeah, it really did. And I was just looking at you at the coffee shop, I'm like, Dylan, burlesque. And I remember talking to your sister, and I was like, thinking about it, like, burlesque is cool, it's different. But the thing is, I think it's actually misunderstood. But we're putting on a burlesque show. That's the plan. Anyway. It's a 10 of the plan. There's a few things that kind of have to, obviously, come to fruition to make that happen with, like, location, venue.
Dancers,
yeah,
choreography, which we
choreography.
got Lakaya Rain out of Portland. She, her and some of her troupe, it's still in the works, but definitely check out her stuff. Sensual choreography. She is an extremely talented dancer, but we might be working with her, which would be a great pleasure. But yeah, we just really were. Elliott was thinking, just when he said burlesque, at first I was kind of like, what? But
I was like, no,
Huh?
just think about it. Let it sink in.
And then we talked about it a little bit, and he's like, what are you doing right now? And I was like, well, we're here. He's like, want to go downtown and check out venues? So then that's when we linked
Yeah,
up
we
with
actually
you
met
on
up
your
with you that
one-wheel.
night.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I was
That
just
was that
one wheeling
night.
around.
Just one wheeling, yeah. And but yeah, so we've been looking into that, but that's something that's in the works. We really just want to bring. It's especially because there is an underground scene in Boise. The VAC does a lot of burlesque events, and but Boise is traditionally and still is a very conservative area. Idaho in general is a very conservative state, and so there's just not as much of a market for those arts, and we want to bring that to light and bring a kind of a newfound appreciation for, present it in a different way, market it in a different way, and open it up to people to come out and experience that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Illumibrate is Illumibrate. Illumibrate, like celebrate.
Oh,
And
I thought it was
illuminate.
bright.
Okay.
I'm going to be doing this, or DJing at the Silent Disco. That'll be kind of fun. I might... See, that's a really fun event because it's like community-oriented. There's some crazy lighting installations. And
Is that where you had your arches?
that's
last
where
year?
that's where I kind of did some prototyping and tested some things out. But I might do some this year. I just don't know if there's gonna be time with everything. Treefort's coming up, all these other
right.
events. I don't want to overextend myself, but probably in future podcasts we'll talk more about that as it's coming up because that's something really cool to go to. But yeah, man.
Speaking of
Things are moving
Treefort, you got. Is there anything that your fans and listeners and other Treefort goers anything they should can expect?
Bruh.
Any surprises you got lined up?
You know me. I'm gonna be laying out some clappers,
Some
and
clappers.
slappers, some knockers, bangers, clangers.
You working? You got? I mean, from you working on some new tunes.
Yeah, I'm gonna have I was gonna release a single around this time, but I delayed it a little bit because I have some remixes coming in from some producers from the Northwest, Portland, Boise. So I'm waiting on those to come in, and then some of the other singles that are already done.
So what is your sound? Because I mean, I've listened to the Explain.
It's bump and grind.
So
is
are
the
you?
genre.
How is your sound
Bump and
evolving?
grind,
'Cause, I mean,
baby.
You've got a lot of the really housey, like bubbly, round bass, kind of like it sounds like these like beach ball shaped sounds, like.
Yeah.
And you've got those with the little bells and stuff.
Well,
But how is your sound like evolving as you grow?
Well, it used to be
moving
a little, like kind of a dichotomy of R&B and more like electronic influence stuff. But over time, it's kind of started mingling a little bit.
No one
They're
else
getting
can
to know
see
each
what you're
other.
doing.
They're getting to know each other a little bit. So now that it's kind of a fusion more of these styles. So I don't know. I'm just going with the flow,
Yeah.
man. I'm just trying new things out. It's
Hell
been
yeah.
fun. And then
I like
with
it.
Wild, that's been kind of exploring the more indie side and a different
Yeah.
style of writing, which is kind of fun. So I think we're
Yeah,
all doing
it's
some
always nice
crazy
to-
things. You got some strong hands, both of yous. I'll need them for this renovation on the bus.
In my
Yeah,
hand,
that-
I got one hand
I have
empty.
really soft hands, so they could probably use a little man stuff.
Yeah.
I got some pretty soft hands. But anyway.
We'll probably throw in some tracks at the end here. Because I want to feature some of your releases that have come out and some other things.
Yeah, I've got. I mean, the EP is 3 tracks.
You're on Spotify.
Yeah, it's
All
on
the-
Spotify.
well,
It's on all the platforms.
When you say Spotify and all that, basically all the platforms. You're
It's
on
on,
everything.
yeah, it's
Amazon
on everything.
Music, Google
it's just,
Play.
Lover, self-titled. It's 3-track EP, and it's interesting because the EP is that I released like an EP sounding the way that it does because it sounds nothing like the rest of my music. It's totally its own thing. Even though I wrote all those songs at different times in my life, but they all just were very cohesive. So we put them together as one package, as kind of an homage to like that classic oldies sound. It's very fun, like a lot of influence from Marvin Gaye, like that soul R&B, and then there's also influence from like Queen, Elton John, definitely Michael Bublé in there. Especially Curious Lover is very, very Michael Bublé.
See, I like that style where you can like,
but
or not that style where I mean like where you can take multiple genres or types of music that you're making and kind of compile them together because you don't have to stick with just one sound, you know.
Absolutely.
And I
it
think
would
some
be
people kind of
insufferably boring.
well, a lot of people do that. They think you want to stay consistent and only make one kind of sound and one type of thing. And I think it's good to. You don't always have to please everyone for every release. You can do some experimentation for an album. You know, as long as you're making music all the time. You know.
Oh,
It's
dude,
good
and
stuff.
stuff that I've been writing lately. Like I've been listening to the song "I Like the Way This Is Going" by Eels, and it's just a beautiful, cute little singer-songwriter jam. And so that like inspired some more folky side of things. I've been listening to a lot of Noah Gunderson, especially his newer stuff, which I just totally vibe with. So I've been getting more into like the singer-songwriter element with me and my guitar, but then also I've been listening to this band called The Midnight, which I'm like stupidly obsessed with right now. And they're like that 80s retro synthwave.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been really digging on that. So I'm trying to incorporate more of those like synth sounds and that kind of 80s like inspirational melodic kind of feel, but then it's like I can never recreate because the way I just do things is in my own way. So it's like I can take those influences, but then I apply it in my own way. So then it's funny because sometimes I'll be writing a song, and I hear these other songs that I'm influenced by as I'm making it, and then as I'm like doing my creative process and making this song, I'll find myself getting frustrated because I'm like, this doesn't sound like the other things I've heard. But it's like, it's because it's me. It's not these other people that have made their songs. So it's the plight of being
That's
an
right.
artist. Finding your voice.
It can be maddening at times.
Can be maddening.
Yeah, because it gets stuck up in.
See that you stuck with one accent that time.
I
You
did.
were talking
How's your Australian?
my Australian?
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right, mate. Let's throw another shrimp on the barbie.
They call them prawns, not shrimps.
Prawns, not shrimps.
That's
now.
how
Now
you-
I'm doing more of a New Zealand.
What about
They're
you,
like,
Elliott?
where's the car?
You know, I'm gonna find me a roo to hop in the sack with.
A roo.
A roo, yeah.
Find me a nice Shayla to bug down.
That was almost like a Scottish or Irish.
Really?
You-
I
for-
don't know, man.
I thought it was alright. But
I've got a really terrible dialect coach. So,
You've got your what was that one you were doing? Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
I'm not very good
I
at
can't
any
do
of it.
Michael Caine.
Master
would-
Wayne, you must remember, it's not about
when
how
they-
you fall down, it's about how you pick yourself back up.
When they give me a script, I'll read the first page, and then I'll read the last page. And if the part they want me to play is on both pages, I do the fucking picture.
On the fucking money. That was good.
Wow.
Yeah, that was actually really good.
I think that my best ones are Kronk and Gollum by far.
You've perfected that in my opinion.
Yeah,
I've been listening
it's because
for
I do it
years.
by myself all the time.
Yeah,
when I'm walking around
years
my
of
house.
practice. And
Yeah. That's it. Is that the chair?
We got some squeaky chairs, man. It's really embarrassing.
let's talk about like the pulse really quick.
Pulse.
The pulse. I'm gonna like maybe if Jeremy, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna create like a segment where we kind of just like "Whoosh." Now introducing the pulse, and the pulse is gonna be something.
We have segments now? All right.
segments.
Yeah,
Don't
we're-
ran this shit by me. Okay, let's do a
I know
segment.
we're doing it on the spot.
This is the pulse. Pulse.
All right. So you guys just gotta listen and chime in. I'll tell you about like something I found in the news. Oh yeah, you want that. So I'm a huge production operations guy and in entertainment. It's what I've been doing for years. You guys know this, but for our listeners, I love anything to do with entertainment. So when I saw this in the news, basically it's about the 2020 NFL draft. And so it's going to be in Las Vegas, and it's going to be a built red carpet stage on top of the lake. And those NFL draftees who are invited to the draft will be brought up by boat. And basically, the
expensive.
Clark County, Nevada issued a layout plan on Twitter. So you can literally see the whole thing in 3D modeling, like what you do with your bus, actually. You know, so the whole thing just brings me to the mind, like, man, I was like, I didn't think that was possible, but this is Sin City. Anything is possible. That's what, like, that town is really good for, you know, in terms of entertainment. You know, Blue Man Group, remember, is it Zambonia or Zamboia? Or it's like, basically, it's like erotic, you know, animal, you know, performance. Like, they dress up the animal, but it's like,
Sign me up.
yeah, it's like erotic as shit.
Sounds sensational.
Yeah, it is.
Quite
And,
literally.
Zootopia, I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, so they just do a bunch of stuff, and I thought that was actually pretty awesome. But at the same time, I never would have, like, you know, because they've never been designed to be that big in terms of, like, you know, they all sit these round tables in, like, an auditorium at, like, Radio Music Hall. Now, with the first selection of the draft, you have Miles Stover, or whoever it is. And they just kind of watch. But now, if they're going to get, like, viewership, they're going to engage people by watching because they're like, you know, this guy's going to be rowing the boat. And he's like, hey, y'all, you know, I'm going up to...
He has to row his own. They have to row their own boats.
I don't know. Details have not been
They
released.
should. I mean, they're NFL stars. They
Right,
Can, they
they-
can hold their own.
But they don't want to ruin that suit, you know, that, like, they
that's
dress,
right,
they
wear
literally
suits.
dress to the 10s, not the 9s, the 10s. I mean, it's...
That reminds me. Do you guys remember the Boise River Festival?
Yes.
Did
That
you
was
know that
great.
it used to be on the river? They'd send floats
Yeah.
down and stuff.
And then it got
I would always-
too problematic.
Well, let's bring it back.
Oh,
We're adults.
So- so you
I
don't-
don't actually know why they stopped doing it. Did they like lose funding, or was it like there were too many problems? Like people.
So interesting thing about that, when I was finishing up my undergrad at Boise State, when I was doing my project management plan for an event, it was all hypothetical, but it was part of my senior seminar. A friend of mine who lives here in town, works for Coachella, a really good mentor of mine. He gave me the contact. He's like, hey, you need to meet this guy named Steve. And so for those who don't know, the entertainment headquarters of all events is in Idaho, Boise, Idaho. So any event that has regulation, it goes through the headquarters. I forget what it's called, but so the headquarters is at the Boise Train Depot. So,
Damn.
yeah, you never would have guessed, but the headquarters is there, and it's for all events of any kind, but it goes through them. So I interviewed him. I was like, hey, so how does this work? And he explained it. And then he went about his history. He's like, yeah, I'm the guy that created the Boise River Festival. And I was just like, I missed that festival. I loved it. He was like, and I think it was something along the lines that they basically just ran out of funding for it, because when it comes down to like producing events, and that's where I often even scratch my head of why I like to produce events, because it's all about how much money you put into it. And Jeremy, you and I both know, in terms of like putting on events, like,
Why you laughing? Why you laughing? It ain't funny.
If
That
you
was
can't laugh at it.
I was in the
Just
newspaper, bro.
We were just
And not in a
revisiting
good
that
way.
Oasis not too
I know,
long
I
ago.
know. But like, if we can't laugh at it in
That's
retrospect,
libel. What they did to me. They did me dirty. Dry snitching. That's how you get cut up.
well,
Why you open up that can of worms? Now you got me shouting.
I know,
Shit
I know.
like that.
You're easily riled.
You know how I feel about dry snitches.
Yeah. Well, that's, the past is something that we can learn from, right? And
You want to know why I don't throw events anymore?
What?
Want to know why I don't throw events
because you
anymore?
go broke.
'Cause- yeah.
Oh, he just done you dirty.
I mean, I'm just
Why
speaking.
you dry snitching now?
No, my pockets are empty. That's how I feel most of the time. So, but I mean, like, they're still fun. Like, that's why, we do what we do,
Come my home.
We do it because we do it because we love it and because we're good at
Yeah.
it.
And we just pray that we break even. It's not necessarily about making the money.
Dude, I just
Eventually-
pray that I don't get in the newspaper on the news. I'm just trying not to get arrested.
Oh, yeah.
We go big, baby.
We go big.
Too big
We're going
sometimes.
big. That's what we're doing. It's actually we were just talking. Jeremy and I were talking about that earlier. How it was like when we were in our younger days, like early 20s, it was all just trying to get exposure. You're just trying to get out there. Get the
Sometimes
gigs.
indecent.
And now we're at a point where we're actually able to, like, we know our value and our worth, and we know what we're shooting for, and we're taking the necessary steps and action to do it. And it's a lot more. It doesn't seem like so much of a pipe dream. Like, now
Yeah.
it's actually a tangible thing.
Right. The experience has come to like full circle now that we have that experience, and it's all. I think you get lost when you're young. You kind of get lost in the sauce about like
Totally lost in the sauce.
about the things that are more instant gratification, the short term, and like but you still dream big and think about the picture. But when there were just certain things on the events that we did in the past where we forgot details. What I can
And
tell,
we were lazy too. We
Yeah.
expected everything to just come to us.
exactly.
We were
And-
like, oh, well, it's like you think, like, I'm going to flex my ego and balloon up my head, and then everything's going to come my way because I deserve it, even though we didn't do anything. Or at least that was my experience, that was something
Right.
I realized about myself, in my growth, was that's how I was.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm the shit, so everything's going to happen for me, man? And then I just didn't do anything and nothing happened.
Now, how do you feel?
I feel great because I've learned from that's not real.
It's good
and that
to
doesn't work.
try to go big. You're all wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, and that's good. Like, I think it's good to do that and then fall on your face, because then
Absolutely.
if you choose to keep going with it, then
Well, and
you're
that's
probably
the
going to go
essence
somewhere with it. But
of
if
success is like you do try something, you fall on your face, you get up, you're like, I'm not going to do that again because I tried it. You try this other thing, you try that, and you fall on your face. And then it's like, what was it, Thomas Edison, who was like, I didn't fail, I just learned whatever 100 and something ways not to make a light bulb.
Right, yeah.
And so it's the same thing with
He was a
anything in your
goddamn
life.
thief and a terrorist.
I know. I've seen The Prestige. Okay, I know how.
You can't fear failure. But
David Bowie invented electricity.
Oh.
I never thought of it like that.
and oh yeah, David Bowie and Andy Serkis.
Electricity.
Fucking Hugh Jackman.
David Bowie. How do you do the David Bowie? You do it.
Yeah, you do. I can't do it.
Bowie.
David. Yeah, you're better at it.
Sarah, turn back before it's too late.
Dance, magic dance. Remember?
Dance,
dude.
magic.
The bulge
Put
on that
magic spell on
man
me.
in the labyrinth. The bulge on that
Oh,
man.
dude, the bulge in that scene.
Woo! And they make cocaine references in that movie, don't you know?
Do they?
Yeah, he does this little like finger on the nose,
Are you
and he
su-
does like a whoosh whoop-de-doo. Oh man,
Are you sure?
he was blowed out.
He was bowed out. He was just bowing.
That's my man right there.
He bow-legged.
Bow-legged Bowie.
Yeah, bow-legged Bowie, man.
What baby?
I mean,
The baby with the power.
I haven't seen that movie,
What
so
power?
I'm having.
The power of voodoo.
I can't make these
You
references.
do.
Do what?
Remind me of the baby.
Yeah.
Dude, this is a show.
I
This
heard
is a
my
show right
baby cry, crying hard as babe could cry. What can I do?
Dude, I love that movie. That and Willow, those were like my two, like, and The Dark Crystal.
Was it what kind of spell?
Magic spell to use.
Slime and snails and puppy dog tails.
Thunder or lightning. And baby said.
now. What's the David Bowie
Yeah,
movie
nailed
where
it.
he's like a vampire? Where he's a vampire, David Bowie. What's that movie? I saw that 2 months ago.
Vampire.
It's weird. It's like I don't know, strangely, esoteric, kind of dark, 80s, and like he takes women back to his place, and like it's very suggested that he's vampiric, but he's not quite vampiric. He just basically enjoys.
That makes sense that they would make a movie about David Bowie being a vampire because he has the
look.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had the vibes.
So I mean, you guys haven't seen it apparently, but that's the only David Bowie
If
I've
you-
actually
I've
seen.
seen Interview with a Vampire.
If
with
you were
some,
a vampire, what part of
Bradley
the
Pitts.
body would you bite to get the blood out?
Ooh,
I'm gonna say the thigh.
thigh's good. I mean, you'd get a lot of blood out of the thigh.
I mean, upper.
Neck is classic though.
Neck is classic.
I mean, let's go on.
If
for
it
the
ain't
jugular.
broke, don't fix it.
I would
Classic.
probably do the neck because I
Easy
love kissing
access.
necks anyways. And
Well, you're not kissing,
I like-
so
Well,
you're-
I mean, a vampire.
I've never been good at hickeys, but I think that if I had the teeth, to really lock myself into one position, I might be better at it. So maybe
you got to be
that's prob-
ginger with it so that they can turn into a vampire too. You
Well, yeah,
want to
you don't
just
wanna kill 'em.
Or wait, how does that even work? Because half the time, like I feel like only the main character vampires live, and then if you bite like all
Well, I
the
know, 'cause is it,
extras
like,
in the
through their
movies, they
saliva,
just,
or is it just the fact that I don't understand.
it's a virus.
It's a
It's like a
genetic, because they.
it's like an STD.
yeah,
you know,
because
yeah.
blood's
They,
crossing blood.
they bite you, you get
saliva.
infected.
you live forever.
Yeah, yeah.
But not
You
everybody.
can fly, maybe depending on the adaptation of the movie.
What
that you're
happens
in.
in Vegas stays in Vegas, except for herpes and vampirism.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, got some awesome things in the works. He's got a bus. Music projects are going well. We're starting our entertainment company, getting that off
Yeah,
the
let's
ground.
keep riding this energy, man. The motivation. You got to double down while the getting's good. And I
Yeah,
think
dude, it's
getting good
a
right
daily a daily thing. You wake up and there's a lot of people that they wake up, and I mean, we all have our days where we do this, but you wake up and then you go, oh my god, like, well, I guess we'll see how today goes. But it's like, no, you don't see how today goes. You choose how today goes. You create the vibrations that you put out in the world. You are in charge of your perception of your life, of yourself, of your own reality. So how are you going to create today? What is today going to mean to you? And the more that you go out and do that, and you accompany that with action, you're just always going to be creating bigger and better things every day.
Bigger. You gotta swallow them G's.
Swallow.
Bigger.
Big.
It's kind of like when you drop the word biscuit, you puff up your cheeks like this. Biscuit.
Biscuit.
Yeah,
Biscuit.
you drop the biscuit. You know,
Biscuit.
give it some oomph.
Touch thine self. Take that with you.
Leviticus 4.
Self-preservation tour 2020. It's coming.
Yeah, it's a soak and poke tour.
Oh man, soak and poke. So I was at this gathering at this lodge, and there was like a little cabin with a hot tub, and ooh, we had a good soak and poke.
Dude, soak and pokes in the tub.
Let's be. I mean, I'll be real though. There was less poke, more soak.
Oh.
There's like no poke. But it was cool to say.
It's always fun when you're like in a hot tub with, you got your friends and you all got some people you're interested in, but the jets are going, so it's bubbly on the surface, so you can't see all the handsy shit going on underneath the water. So you're doing handsy shit while you're sitting there with your friends, and all the stuff's going down, and you're like. And it's exciting because you're like in public, you're with people, but they can't see what's going on, but you know what's going on, but you're being sneaky, but at the same time, everyone kind of knows what's going on.
Hand holding.
Well, yeah, their hands are holding something.
Yeah, like another hand.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. So thank you for.
At this point, we just need to focus on, like, as a society, as a global human race, like, just making dope shit and Dyson swarms and O'Neill cylinders and living in space and forget all this other shit and let's make robots and let's make AI. I'm standing up right now and it looks really intense because you guys can't see, but I'm getting really into it, and we're going to be in space, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to live there and we're going to fuck there and we're going to die there.
I thought you wanted, well, hold on a second. Now, are you going to be with the 1%ers? Or no, you're going to be with the 99% living in space.
I had a change of heart. I thought, that's conspiracy shit, dog. I'm over it. I'm sitting back down. So fuck it. Let's live in space, because there's some new new information that came through. So even if humans are like extremely peaceful and we are like, let's say we have a trillion people on the planet or something, but we're completely sustainable and there's no harmful impact on the planet, but we are utilizing a shit ton of energy, obviously. No, even if you're using solar, this, that, or the other, anything that, like computers or anything that has energy in it will have waste heat. And so there's like no choice but to expand into space, because even if we're the most efficient technologically, we'll still have to get rid of a shit ton of waste heat from all of our technology.
I don't know why we don't just use the alien technology.
So let's go to space.
Acquired.
Oh man, so I changed my mind. Let's do it. Let's go to space, bro. Come with me.
Are you not entertained?
Hold the line.
Hold on. That's a Game of Thrones reference. It didn't work.
Glad you guys could make it today.
Yeah,
Nice.
I've been wanting to do it ever since we did the first one.
Yeah, we've been busy though with everything going on, so there's going to be more episodes to come. And like I mentioned before, we're going to have some more tracks played by my boy here, Lover.
Damn right.
Yeah, me know.
Got some good stuff. Got some good stuff. Good stuff in the works.
But y'all take it easy. Be safe out there.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
We will see y'all on the flip side. Clap house.
On the flappy flippy.
It's been real. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's all coming together.
Oh, Patrick.
impress you, not trying to test you. Now just give me one chance, show you how I do. Just give me one chance, show you how I do. Oh, now
Oh, this one a juicy bit.
Juicy.
Well, if you stuck around this far, you're welcome.